guys, and welcome to my channel. It's episode 2, that's 2 of What I've Learned Wednesday. I did a little poll on my Instagram and you guys said that you would like me to talk about body positivity and how I've learned to embrace my body. I also grew up in, I feel now, looking back, a very fat-phobic family, so I'm going to talk about the traits that they would show and how that affected me and how I've kind of moved past all that, and I'm the shining example of self-confidence that you see before you. But yeah, so let's get into it. I'm getting super dressed up today. I'm wearing, underneath this, I'm wearing a dress, so I'll show you guys that later. It's really pretty, so I'm gonna do my makeup to match it. So just so you guys know if you're similar traits to me or not, I have a very unhealthy relationship with food. Food has always been my comfort. I've never been in a situation where I've been so stressed that I can't eat, you know, like some people. That's definitely not how my unhealthy relationship with food shows itself. Mine shows itself by, well, this is very white. Mine shows itself that whatever my mood is, I want to eat. So if I'm sad, I want to eat. If I'm happy, I want to eat. If I'm bored, I want to eat. Constantly I am thinking about food. So I'm probably gonna insert some pictures as we go through, just of me through the years, so you guys can see you know, my body type and what I'm like. So I've always been chubby. When I was a baby I was very chubby and it was very cute, you know, I had the chubby cheeks. That's what is cute on babies. I'm also very tall, so I've been this height since about year 7, so I'm 5'8", which is very big. So I've always been a big girl. I kind of developed boobs overnight when I was about 11, so I've always been tall and big. I've always hunched quite a lot because of my height, so I've always been a bit ungraceful. There's lots of people who are bigger frames in my family, and for some reason that is like a cardinal sin. My nan in particular is very fat phobic. She would make it very clear that my cousin and my younger sister, who were thin, were more favoured in her eyes, and that because I was bigger I wasn't. My sister, so I have a thing where I kind of, there's lots of things that happen to me that I can't remember. I think my brain just goes to another dimension when it doesn't want to deal with stuff. So my sister says she remembers a time when we were in the shop and I wanted to get some sweets. I think I must have been about 12, 11, something like that. And I wanted to get some sweets and my nan apparently was like screaming at me that I didn't need any more sweets and da-da-da and da-da-da and just shouting about my weight. And apparently my sister said I just kind of glazed over and was like, not even listening. And I think that's how I dealt with a lot of the negative comments. My mum was on and off diets all through my childhood, so that had quite an effect because, you know, when you're bigger than the people around you who are on diets, you constantly feel like you have to lose weight. There was lots of unhealthy diets that were done. I remember we did the Dukan diet. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that, but it's basically where you stop yourself eating anything for a week apart from, I can't remember, I'll find out the details, but basically I lost 9 pounds in a week and gained it all back the next week because it's not sustainable. It's really bad for your body, and I do have far-reaching effects now where I find it really hard to diet because I've done so much yo-yo dieting. But I was just following what my family did, which is sad, you know. It wasn't that I was like a fad dieter and my family were trying to stop me. We also didn't grow up very well off, so fresh ingredients and stuff are expensive, and I've never really liked vegetables and stuff, so I think that's another thing as well, that we would just eat what was available, I suppose, and cheapest. As well, they would make it very clear with where they would place pictures. So there was a picture of my cousin at school and that was like front and centre. When you came into the room you could see it. And my picture from when I went to, it's called a pioneer school, and it's basically like a really big deal for the Jehovah's Witnesses to get to pioneer school, but my photo from there was like hidden around the corner. So yeah, and I'm going to check with my sister if she's okay for me to add this, but my sister and I were both bigger growing up, like I was a lot bigger than her, but she developed an eating disorder, and my grandparents would constantly tell her how good she looked and how well she looked, and it just massively added to the narrative that thin is better. Now, I've always been a very, very confident person. I remember I used to get picked on at school because I think people have always thought that I like have airs and graces and think more of myself than I should, and that's not true. I've just got a lot of confidence in myself, and nothing that I experienced got rid of that completely, but it certainly dampened it when I was growing up, because those kind of attitudes towards weight and bigger frames, and I feel very fortunate that I am a strong person and that I can deal with those things, but this is why people develop eating disorders, because they feel like they need to lose weight to fit in with what people want them to look like. I think it's also hard to embrace and accept your body when you grow up in a world where you have to dress a certain way. So for me, I had to wear dresses and skirts, and whilst that would be flattering to my body type if I could wear something that was, you know, a bit more cinched in at the waist and showed off my bust a bit more, because you have to be as modest as possible, the dresses that I could wear always made me look so much bigger than I was. I think that gave me, like, I wouldn't say it's body dysmorphia, but it's, you know, that kind of, when I look in the mirror I see someone different. And sometimes now, you know, I'll fit into clothes or I'll see pictures and I'll be like, oh no, that's just a good angle, you know. You know, I grew up in the early 2000s, but I was born in 93, and obviously the popular fashion from around that was, I think it was called heroin chic, where it's just so skinny, low-rise jeans, you know. And when you are a curvier body, I'm so happy now that it's like any body type is beautiful. I'm so happy that that is the beauty now, but those feelings and attitudes don't just go away overnight, and it can be difficult to change your mindset and to change your opinion about your body, and to accept and love your body is really difficult when you haven't before. So I would say that I'm really happy that things are changing now and the narrative is changing, but if you have been brought up in a world where people tell you that you're bigger, and that even directly or indirectly that being smaller is more attractive, those things stay with you for a long time. I think for me, I focus a lot more now on being healthy. I lost about 3 stone about 2 years ago. I gained quite a lot of it back now because of lockdown and being in a relationship and the stress that I've had over the past couple of years, but I've still got that body underneath, and I'd never been fit and healthy before. I'd never worked out, so I didn't have the base, whereas when I started working out and eating healthier, I felt like I was still curvy, I was still bigger, but I was more confident in myself and I liked myself more. And even now at this size, I still see the positives. So I would definitely recommend being healthy. I think if you're a bigger or a smaller frame of either extreme, if you're, you know, much bigger or much smaller, it's still important to be healthy. And I think a lot of people don't like being told to work out or being told to be healthy because they feel like it's an attack, but it is super important to you and to your mental health to be healthy and to make the best of yourself. And it really helped my mental health to work out. And of course, you know, people would then make positive comments and my family would start being more positive, but by that point I didn't care about their opinions. I only cared about what I thought about myself. And, you know, of course it's lovely having people tell you that you've lost weight or that you look better. You know, if Brandon tells me that I look nice, of course, it makes me feel really good. But I think if that's all you're relying on, you're always going to be unhappy because you're just waiting for validation. So I think just really trying to find a style and clothes that you feel confident in. Just wear what makes you feel comfortable, what makes you feel good in yourself. And if you have a bigger belly and you like your bigger belly, show your belly. Like, I personally am still growing in that sense. I would love to show my body more, but I'll get there one day. But there isn't any outfit that if I thought it looked nice, I wouldn't wear just because I'm bigger. And that's taken me so long to get to that point. But trust me, you can do it. And as well, growing up in the lifestyle that I did, I never saw anyone else's body. I never knew what proper women looked like. I only knew what the media looked like, and I wasn't encouraged to really get to know my own body. And I think that that is one thing I would 100% recommend. I know there's a book which I'll tag here, which I read a few years ago, and that just completely opened my mind to the fact that there's so many body types, and I had such a thing for so many years that my body was grotesque, that it didn't look like people on social media or in the news or glamour models, so I didn't have the right body. And now I think, you know, there's so many things like the candles or the little pottery things that have women's boobs, and they're all different shapes and sizes. I think that's so great. And yeah, I would recommend getting to know your body, really knowing who you are, because you will soon realise that you don't look like everyone else, and that's what's beautiful. Everyone's unique. We all have things that we want to change about ourselves. I know some friends of mine who I think are absolutely perfect, and there are things that they're like, oh, I wish I had this, or I wish I had that. Nobody is 100% confident with their body all the time, and we can't expect to be. But what we can hope and expect is that we will embrace our bodies and love ourselves and give ourselves, like, cut ourselves some slack. But I would definitely say spend some time researching some looks that you feel confident in. That was really important for me. Yeah, I do have to try more to find a style that suits me, because I am bigger, and so not everything is going to suit me like someone who is quote unquote the template body, you know, like someone who's perfect in every way, Kim K or something. You know, everyone has got different bodies and different bumps and curves. But yeah, do some research, look into things that make you feel good in your body, and wear those, and wear them with pride. You know, put your shoulders back, show the world. And confidence is so attractive. I think confidence is the most attractive thing that you can see in a person. So if you love yourself and embrace who you are, then you will attract so many more people into your life, because they can see that you love yourself, and that you... I think that if you don't love yourself, I don't know about everyone else, but for me, that makes me a really horrible person, because I'm very jealous of everyone else. Whereas when I started to accept who I am and love myself, and realise that just because someone else I think looks good doesn't take that away from me. Like, there's plenty of... Everyone can be attractive. Just because someone else looks good doesn't mean that I automatically look like shit, you know? And I think it makes you feel so much better if you can, especially as women, if we can be supporting each other and, you know, saying, oh, they just look amazing. You never know how someone feels. Someone could really do with that day. And just because you feel, oh, well, they're like, they look amazing, so obviously they know they look amazing. That's not true. So just always be positive about other people and give compliments where you can, and it makes you feel so much better about yourself, I think. I think as well, don't go on diets, just try and change your choices. I've kind of slipped recently, but I started not eating after 8 and drinking my 2 litres of water a day. That's not something I'm going to do, you know, for 6 months until I get to the size I want, and then I'm going to stop doing that. That's something I'm going to try. And like I said, I've been shit recently. But that's something that I want to try and do long term. And I think that that's important. Find some healthy lifestyle changes that you can do that you're going to keep up. Not just do as part of a diet, because that kind of puts in your mind a date and a bit more pressure. Whereas if it's like a lifestyle change, then it's more helpful to you. And it's something that you're going to try and maintain long term. And I was at my biggest. I remember I was going to go out to the shop and I wanted to get some sweets, and I decided, you know what, actually I'm going to use that money that I was going to use to get sweets, and I'm going to sign up to the gym. And for me, that was a really important turning point, and I felt so proud of myself. And I felt so proud of myself then, and I feel so proud of myself since. That was years ago, but I'm so proud that I did that, because it really changed things for me. And I still have a really unhealthy relationship with food. You know, if I can't have sweets or something, or like, you know, I want to go and get sweets and I know that I shouldn't, I will cry. And that's so pathetic, but it's trauma related, unfortunately. And I do have a really unhealthy relationship with food, and I'm constantly striving every day to improve that. But be proud of the little things that you do. If you decide one day that actually I'm going to not have that takeaway and instead I'm going to make a meal, reward yourself and be proud. Be really proud of yourself. And I think finding rewards that aren't food-based as well is really important, because when I did something right or did something good, I would just want to reward myself with food. So I think if you can reward yourself with other things, like some new makeup or a haircut, or I don't know, my things were like haircut or a new top or something, you know, that's not food related, and get that out of your mind that like everything good must end with food. But yeah, I think remembering that a lot of issues around food are trauma based is really important. I think the main thing for me that really helped with my starting to love my body was loving other people's. And I think looking at social media or looking at your friends and seeing people that you think, oh wow, their body is so wonderful and they look great, of different sizes, makes you realise, oh, maybe I don't look so bad, because there's not just one box of what's attractive that everyone fits into. I think the biggest lessons that I've learned in life is that my relationship with food is always going to be unhealthy. I'm always going to rely on it too much. But there are things that I can do to make myself feel better and more in control. Working out is really good for me. It helps me to feel like I'm in control and to just love and feel better about my body. And it's not about necessarily being thin or looking a certain way. It's nicer when I feel more toned, but it's more about looking after my body, and you can't love your body if you're not looking after it. You can't just expect it to be exactly what you want when you don't look after it. So do your best to try and be healthy. Try and drink lots of water. That makes you feel so much better about yourself. Your skin gives you so much more energy. There's nothing helpful in fad diets, and there's never going to be a reason that those are a good idea. So focus more on lifestyle changes and trying to improve things that you know you can keep up long term. Don't make goals that you're not going to be able to sustain. And remember, there's so many different body types. Everyone is so different, and that's what makes the world so beautiful, is that there are so many different people and not one person is the ideal body. Everyone loves different things. We all want to be different things. As long as you are healthy and as long as you love yourself and look after yourself, then your body will reward you for that. And it might not be in the way that you think, and you might not end up being what you think that you wanted to be, but love yourself regardless and be proud of your achievements. And if you slip back, like I said, I've gained so much of the weight that I lost back, but I love myself regardless, because I know I've done it before. I know if I want to, I'll do it again. And I'm not going to beat myself up because we've had a really hard year, and you would be so sympathetic and kind to your friends. So give yourself the same respect and the same love, and be patient with yourself, and look in the mirror at yourself like you would a friend. It's so hard to do, but try and look at yourself as you would if you saw a friend like you, and I guarantee you'll be a lot less harsh to yourself if you don't look at yourself as if it's you. We're always so much crueler to ourselves than we are to other people. And remember as well that fat phobia is a thing, and it is very traumatic if you have faced it. So don't laugh it off or pretend like it didn't happen, or if it affects you, it affects you. And just remember that those people are probably very unhappy with themselves, and that's why they feel the need to say the things that they do. So don't let them get you down, but also you don't have to pretend like those things don't bother you, because they are really traumatic and they're very triggering, and they're very, very cruel things that people can say. But I would say if you put in the steps that I've done, then hopefully it will help you in some way to get nearer to being happy with yourself and embracing who you are. And just remember, everyone is beautiful. There's not one person in the world who isn't beautiful. We're all attractive. And the thing that will unlock another level to our being attractive to other people is our confidence and our love for ourselves. So do your best to fake being confident, and then one day, like me, it will be real. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to some of you. Weight and body acceptance and body confidence is so difficult, but just know that I think you're all stunning. And I love all of your bodies. And I hope that you like this look. I really like it. I'm obsessed with this lipstick at the minute. I haven't worn it for ages, but yeah, I wanted to do some green to match the dress, but I wanted to have my red lips as well. So it's very Christmassy, but we love it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more like this. And as ever, if you have any suggestions for looks that you'd like me to do for Makeup Mondays, Topical Tuesdays, or What I've Learned Wednesdays, then let me know down in the comments or DM me. Also leave a comment or DM if you have any suggestions for topics you'd like me to discuss on a Tuesday, or anything you'd like me to discuss that I've gone through in life, or experiences that we all face and my take on it, then DM me, comment, something. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you soon. Bye!